Yo, what's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be talking about how I obtained every buyable card in the game and try to give you all some tips on how to do the same if that's what you're going for this year in my team. I know a lot of people don't do that and they're solely focused on just building a particular lineup, and then there's a lot of casual players who just want to get on and have fun, which is fine. Me, I'm a perfectionist. I have OCD. I like to complete collections. It's very satisfying for me. Right now, as you can see, I'm 48 cards from Dwayne Wade. Once I obtain the rest of the dominations, which I've been slacking this year, I've been procrastinating. I haven't really been working on domination, spotlight, even triple threat offline. I know a lot of people grinded that, to get the cards that are available. But what's kept me above water is having every single card available for purchase with MT. So when that's all said and done, I should be about 60 to 70 cards away from Opal Anthony Davis. So I definitely still have quite a bit of grinding to do, but I'm slowly getting closer and taking it a day at a time. I don't want to force anything. A lot of us tend to over grind and get discouraged when it comes to this game, so don't over grind and not want to make so that it makes it to the point where you don't want to play. Just do it gradually. Play the game modes. If you're not feeling my team that day, go jump into Park or jump on another game. But so let me just run through the collections. Right now I have all the current 2020s, all the current 2020 Series 2s. I have every single heat check available. I have every single moments available, including the new Levert and the new Porzingis, which took me a little bit to get because they just dropped, and Porzingis was not popping up for snipes, but I eventually did snipe him, but we'll get into that shortly. As you can see, the rewards aren't buyable, so that's just something I got to get over time. I have every single premium available. We don't count these because these aren't buyable. Everything else is buyable. These are missing because they're not released yet, for those of you who don't know. We do have a mystery player coming out in the future. Hopefully he's going to be somebody good. I would love to see a card like Opal Kevin Garnett. He's one of my favorite players. A lot of people don't like the idea of that, but that's something that I think would be pretty cool. Personal opinion. I got all the historic uniforms. I have all the miscellaneous uniforms that were just dropped, as well as everything else, the balls, the coaches, so on and so forth. So what I did to obtain these cards, I'm just going to keep it basic and simple, and I'm going to give you the most basic principles. What I can start with is sniping is everything. If you're not very wealthy and you don't have a lot of money to drop on VC, because we know that my team is heavily pay to play in a sense. If you have the money to do so, you can have one of the biggest and best collections available very easily without very little effort. And that's a route you can go if you're financially financially stable and your finances allow you to do that. Me, on the other hand, I do well for myself, but I don't want to drop all my money on VC. So this year I've spent very little on VC. I did spend some money on VC. I'm not gonna lie, this is not a no money spent team. I spent a little over $300 in total. So take it for what it is. That's not a lot in the grand scheme of things. I didn't start spending money on VC until the MJ packs dropped, and they came out with the 25% off deal for GameStop and Amazon, so they suckered me a little bit, not too much. Thankfully the packs were very lucrative for me. Some people didn't get good pulls. I did get lucky and got some good pulls, and it definitely helped with my MT as well. But what I basically do, and I recommend, I'm a sniper. I post a ton of videos on sniping. If you don't like the filters I'm posting, there's a million my team YouTubers out there that have incredible filters. There's no right or wrong filter. It's what works best for you. The only thing I recommend when you're on these filters, make sure they're current. When packs drop, you need to know. The biggest thing is you need to know when 2K drops content. So get familiar with when they normally drop content during the week, what time they drop content. That's your absolute best time to get on and go crazy and try to snipe anything and everything. And that's one big thing that's going to build your bankroll. And me personally, I sniped like 4 or 5 KDs when Opal KD dropped, and I didn't keep any of them. And my stream kept asking me like, why don't you keep one? I want to see gameplay, blah blah blah. I didn't see a purpose in keeping KD at that time. Let's say I sniped 5 KDs. They all sold for 600,000 plus. So what is that? 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. That's 3 million right there. And every KD I sniped was 500 or less. So let's just say I spent 500K on those KDs. I just made 2.5 million, and we're not including the, you know, the auction tax, so, you know, whatever, it could be like 2.4 million on those cards. I know, and we all know that KD was going to drop, which he did, and he's sitting around like high 3s, low 4s right now. So eventually I went back and sniped him again, thankfully. But if I didn't snipe him, I knew that I could rebuy him at a much cheaper price. So that's basically what I do. When I first started building my collection, I went through every single card available under 750, and you're going to get a ton of the uniforms, you're going to get a ton of the series 1, series 2 cards, the heat checks. When you run out of cards to buy at 750, go to 1,000. Everything 1,000 or less that pops up that you don't have, buy it. Buy it, buy it, buy it. But keep in mind, make sure you have the MT to do so. And the only way to truly have the MT to do so is to continue to snipe. And I know it takes a long time, but don't ever spend all your MT. Make sure you have, you know, whatever, a couple 100,000, whatever's comfortable for you available, so you can snipe and make more MT. Don't just go and complete these collections and get these tokens and then you're done. Because now you're in a, you know, you're in a rock and a hard place. You spent all your MT, now you got to figure a way to get it back up. So you always want to leave yourself some MT. But when you have that MT available, that's what you should do. All the cards are 1,000 or less, you get. Simple as that. Then once you have all them, it starts getting more expensive. You're going to get into the 2 to 2,500 or less cards, which will be like amethyst and certain cards. Eventually you'll get into the 5,000 or less, 10,000 or less. You know, you get a lot of diamonds and so on and so forth for that price. You can snag some pink diamonds for 15 or less, like you know, there's a couple like Nash and those guys, David Thompson. They fluctuate, but that is what I pretty much did. I literally just was patient, and over time I grabbed these cards, and while grabbing these cards I sniped, you know, a variety of cards. I don't really go after opals a lot, but KD was very lucrative for me. I tend to stay on the filters that I post, so any filter I'm currently using I have a video for, more than likely. And I go after a lot of the pink diamonds that are by nails, because my mentality is you get them and you can flip them right away for instant profit. You go, let's say you snipe a Paul George. He's going for like maybe 150 right now. Let's say you snipe a Paul George for 100k. You're going to be able to put him up, but you're going to have to wait 4, 12, or 24 hours, and that's great. He's great profit, and as long as you have the MT to wait, that's fine. But if you're somebody who only has 100k MT, now your MT's caught up. So what I normally do is when the recent cards dropped, I went right for Yrndj. Yrndj was between like 60 to 70k at one point, so I was sniping everything Yrndj. You know, any Yrndj that popped up for like 50k or less, and I would put him up for the cheapest, which let's say he was selling for 60, I put him up for 59,950. He would sell instantly. I just made a quick flip, an easy like 8 or 9,000 right there. So that's something that I do, and you just continuously flip if you're not going for the bigger cards like the opals, or, you know, more expensive cards that are not by nails. That's your best, your absolute best thing. I can't even stress it. That's the best thing you can do as far as sniping, and just flipping, and it's going to add up. And by the time you know, you're going to make, you know, $100,000-$200,000 or MT, not dollars. I wish it was dollars, in a day. And you know, you're going to slowly notice you're completing your collections. This is a slow process. This is a marathon. This is not a race. This doesn't happen overnight. I didn't just get on one day and say, you know what, I'm going to have almost 2,800 cards and have everything completed. This just took so much time, so much grinding. But I know everybody that's interested in completing the collections, they can do it just by following that. Sniping is the biggest thing, and you have to sit down and you really have to snipe if you want to do this. If you're not a casual player and this is something you're going after, as you've seen, like, I'm really close to Opal Dwayne Wade, and I'm just now starting domination. So you know, to have every single viable card is incredible, but on the same note, it's very expensive. And I do want to touch on one more thing. A lot of people question me and they're like, there's no point to have all those cards and whatnot, and I understand. But as I did mention, I'm a perfectionist, so cards like the premiums I locked in, a lot of them, you know, they do come with rewards. So, you know, Opal Dwight Howard, a lot of people don't like him, but for me, I think he's awesome. Is he going to be a permanent card in my lineup? No, but I'm enjoying him, and I understand that, you know, there's far better, you know, cards that are going to be released. I don't really like him at center, so I do run him power forward when he's in the lineup. But I did complete these. I cannot resell these. I do not regret it. It's something that I, you know, like to do. Now, for instance, the moments cards, all these cards are going to be resellable, right? So what I did when it came to moments cards, people, my team, the My Team community, we're our own worst enemy. We hear about cards are about to drop, or we have a card that drops at a certain position and it completely crashes the market. And you know, most recently Tracy McGrady, Derrick Rose, those packs, right? So for instance, they completely crashed the market for guards in particular. Almost every single Moments Pink Diamond Guard, anything dropped. I even seen, you know, Giannis go down, which he don't even, you know, I don't know. I mean, you can run Tracy McGrady at the forward position too, so you know, I guess he could potentially affect Giannis's price. Anyway, everything just crashed, and for someone like me, I waited to get the moments cards later. I went after the other cards I was mentioning, like the uniforms, you know, coaches, the cards that are cheaper, and I had MT build up, and it was time to start completing the moments cards, and all of these cards just crashed. So what I did, for instance, let me go find, I'm going to use somebody as an example that'll be, here we go, Aaron Gordon, when he first dropped, was not a buy now. Before T-Mac packs dropped, the T-Mac and Derrick Rose packs dropped, he was sitting at around like 85k plus, right? When those packs dropped, he was down to 44k. I got him at 44,000. So what I'm getting at here is, when I complete all the collections and I get Opal Anthony Davis, if I'm going to resell anything, it's going to be these moments cards. And a lot of people are like, oh, they're going to be devalued, blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. A lot of these cards are going to significantly drop just because of all the, you know, there's going to be Opals released and so many better cards at this position, or duplicate cards that are better than the current one. But for us and at people who play the auction house, and if you're watching this video, you probably like to snipe, doing what I did with Aaron Gordon, and I did it with all the moments that I got this past week or so. I got him at such a good price at 44k with a diamond contract. Diamond contract alone is like 13, 14. So I realistically paid like 13,000 for this card, right? If you want to include a diamond contract, even if it gets to a point where he gets devalued, he's not going to drop much lower than that. I might lose a little, he might be a little higher than that, but if I was to get Opal Anthony Davis and decide I want MT, I can go through all of these cards, and the majority of these cards I can comfortably say that I either sniped at a really good price, or I waited for, you know, new pack hype and waited for these moments to get devalued, because they get affected the most when new packs drop. Look at what's dropping if you can find out before it drops, or the day it drops, be available. You know, get on within the first hour, 2-3 hours, because you know the first couple hours is when the moments cards will become the cheapest. Look at what's dropping. Like I said, T-Mac and Rose are guards, so guards really took a hit, especially in this area, and I cleaned up, and I got all these cards at such a good price that, you know, I could sit on these cards for a couple months and get, you know, Opal AD and resell them and still pretty much break even or make a little profit. And that's what I do. Don't just go in and buy them just to buy them. Moments cards should be looked at just like that, unless you really want a card in your lineup and you want to try to, you know, buy them or even snipe them, because I've sniped a lot of these for a really good price too. But if you don't want to wait on any, you know, if you don't want to snipe, or, you know, you don't want to pay what they're going for, wait for new packs to drop. See what cards are going to be in them packs. You know, the first couple hours, you're going to see a lot of these get devalued. It happens every time for no reason, because they end up going back up, and there's always going to be a market for these cards, because there's a ton of casual My Team players or players that don't have a lot of time on their hands and don't want to spend a lot of money on VC or snipe. So they're going to want cards that are, you know, not ridiculously expensive. So there's always going to be a market for these cards, and they're always going to hold some type of value. It doesn't have to be crazy value, but it's going to be there. So if you get them for the right price, even if you're taking a little loss over time, and you know, just go for it, because it's just, if you're going for the collector level like me, it's worth it. You can always resell, like I said, and you know, the best time to buy these moments cards are when new packs drop. If you have any questions, if I confused you at all, because I know I tend to ramble on some of these videos, you know, these are all rolling unedited, and I just go in and I just drop any knowledge I have or what I do. So there's nothing, you know, being edited out or anything like that. This is all coming from off the top of my head. I'm not reading off any script, anything like that. So sorry if I'm all over, but if you have any questions, if I confused anybody or didn't explain it, you know, maybe in a way that you understand, feel free to just hit me up on Instagram or Twitter. I'll respond to everybody. I'll sit there. If it takes me 10 minutes or 10 hours to explain how to do something, I'm going to do it, because I like my team. I think it's a great community. Everybody who's been, you know, supporting the YouTube is unbelievable, and my token of appreciation, if I have to sit there and break things down, you know, and talk for hours about it, then that's what I'm going to do to make sure you succeed as well, because I'm putting this content out to make sure you guys succeed too. So make sure you check those out. Even if you're not going to hit me up in a DM, you just hit them with a follow if you got time. They're all down in the description. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you don't forget to like this video. But most of all, leave a comment. Leave a comment if, you know, if my videos are helping you, if this video helped you, any video helped you. Comments mean the most to me, because I'm able to interact and see who's you know, who's subscribed to the YouTube, and you know, at least at the very little thank you or talk to you. So, you know, if you have any positive, you know, success stories with my filters or just by watching these videos, definitely let me know. Like I said, I appreciate all the support. You know, I'm almost at 200 subscribers. It's been an awesome couple of weeks. I've been trying to put out as much content as I can, and I'm very, very thankful for everybody that comes by and watches these videos, and I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you guys next time.